Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host. Just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Saturday, April 6th, Major League Baseball slate. Just a reminder, if you're new to our show, welcome, first of all. But we do fade or follow four teams to try to keep and bet in those games there. So it's the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Royals, and the Orioles. Just learned over the years to kind of minimize the amount of games that we're on. It's much easier to follow those four teams pretty in-depthly. And not only that, I mean, we do keep track of the other teams, but when it comes to extremely doing deep dive, those four teams is about the max we can handle without a staff of about 50 statisticians to help us out. So just to give you an idea, we will give you some leans that we've got on some other games, things of that nature, but what we actually place our bets on will be with those four teams there. So Saturday gets off the start. We've got a few early games, A's and Tigers. Tigers been on a roll. They are a pretty sizable favorite there with Maeda pitching. If the A's are probably going to sneak one out, it's going to be today or tomorrow, or Saturday or Sunday. So a plus 150 dog, never a bad idea there. Guardians Twins, Carrasco versus Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan has pitched pretty well. Twins are about $1.60 favorite roughly there. We would lean in that one. Then we've got the Marlins and the Cardinals. Marlins going in some direction I haven't seen from them at all. So I would take the Cardinals in that one. We like the Cardinals pretty much for the season. I think they have a great chance to win the NL Central, as we've got a ticket on that one as well. The game we are on is going to be Dodgers-Cubs. Two of the teams we focus on actually going against each other in Chicago. 9-7 final in the Friday matchup. A lot of bashing going, a lot of hits. Ohtani finally kind of busted through a little bit over what he's done lately. Freddie Freeman continues his streak. Will Smith hitting at an incredible pace. But the guy that's really made the difference so far for the Dodgers, even though losing effort, he went 4 for 5, and that's Teoscar Hernandez. Man, how good does that guy look hitting sixth in your lineup, right? So remember, this guy hit third, fourth for the Mariners, and hitting sixth in this Dodgers lineup just speaks to the lean of it. Now, we did get a win with the Cubs money line for Friday, but I don't know about you, but we're sitting there watching the game, and there's never, even though the Dodgers were down 4 runs, it was still a sweat. There's a sweat in the ninth inning when they're down 2, and they end up loading the bases. This offense is relentless. Now, Yamamoto got shelled in the Seoul series, barely got out of the first inning, giving up 5 runs. That's why the ERA is still over 7. Comes back in the second start, looks absolutely dominant. A guy that's the guy you paid $300+ million to. So completely, I don't know if he's, I don't think we're going to get game 1 of the Seoul series. I don't think we're going to see a second start. Maybe we get something close to his second start, a little bit there. The Cubs left-handers have been, struggling. I mean, Ian Happ's played okay. Bellinger has been absolutely cold as ice so far this season for the Cubs in their lineup. And Morel had a 0 for 4 game, but Suzuki was hot. Suzuki remains hot. He's one, being a Cubs fan, he's definitely one of my favorite Cubs on that one. But with that Dodgers lineup and Yamamoto pitching, even though $1.84 favorite, we're going to lay it with the Dodgers. Dodgers money line. And then on the run line, we're going to take a -1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. Dodgers over the team total. I think they'll be able to pound away at Jordan Wicks. And if you saw the game on Friday, you recognize the bullpen issues that the Cubs have as well. Dodgers -0.5 run, first 3 and 5 innings, -1.5 runs, first 7 innings. We're actually going to play 3 batters here and all their props that we play. We love Freddie Freeman. He's been on fire as of late. So homer, double, over hits, runs, RBIs. The bet isn't out yet. Just letting you know what we're going to play. It's probably going to be 2.5, 1.5, 2.5, and then Freddie Freeman, it should be over 1.5 total bases. Teoscar Hernandez, homer, double, over 1.5 total bases, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We also think Mookie will have a big day as well, so we're going to take Mookie, homer, double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. It might be 2.5 by the time that bet gets posted, and over 1.5 total bases. So one more time in this Dodgers-Cubs matchup, Dodgers money line minus 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 on the run line. Dodgers over the 4.5 team total. Dodgers minus 0.5 run first 3 and 5 innings, minus 1.5 runs in the first 7. Freeman homer, double, over hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases. Teoscar Hernandez homer, double, over 1.5 total bases, over hits, runs, RBIs. Same thing for Mookie, home run, double, over 1.5 total bases, and hits, runs, RBIs. So we'll look at the next games on the board. Phillies, Nationals, Suarez going against Irvin. Phillies on the road in D.C. This game could be pretty close here. The one thing I would probably like in this matchup, I think here, that over at 8.5, it's probably a pretty good play in that particular game, as that game should have quite a bit of runs. Next game up, though, we are on Saturday. Let's see, at 1:06 Phoenix time, so 4:06 Eastern. We're going to have the Orioles still in Pittsburgh playing the Pirates. Wells against Fader on that one. The Orioles right around $1.30 favorite. They have a nice little 5-2 win in game 1 of this series. The Pirates were on fire, but let's be honest here. The Pirates played a lot of games against the Marlins. That definitely increases the record here. The Orioles are a different story. They can pitch. The bullpen's actually decent, and they can smash. If you look at that lineup, you've got Gunnar Henderson is one of the best young bats in the game. Adley Rutschman, another great young bat. Santander, Mountcastle, O'Hearn. Those guys can all rake. The bottom of that lineup struggled a little bit. Urias finally had a little bit of a decent game. Westberg's kind of struggled out of the gate. Cedric Mullins has definitely struggled out of the gate, even though he does hit a homer there for the Orioles. The Pirates, O'Neal Cruz, folks, if you haven't had a chance to watch O'Neal Cruz play, it's worth carving out some time to check him out. He's definitely an offensive weapon for the Pirates. I'm surprised the Pirates need to call up Skeens and just get on with the program. They actually have a chance this year, I think, to really compete for the National League Central if they're willing to bring the guys up. Brian Reynolds is a solid professional hitter for him. McCutcheon, kind of same thing. O'Neal Cruz and Swarsky and those guys can make some stuff happen if they get some pitching to go with it. Especially with Skeens, Mitch Keller, those guys can definitely do some good, and I think win a lot of games. With the Orioles in this one, I just think that another opportunity going against the left-hander here. I just think a big opportunity for them to score some more runs. And we like the Orioles in this matchup, even though being $1.30 favorite, shouldn't be no sweat, kind of like the game was on Friday. So we'll take the Orioles money line minus 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 on the run line. Orioles over their team total. Orioles minus 0.5 run first 3, first 5, and first 7 innings. Adley Rutschman, who we mentioned, switch hitting catcher, DH, home run, double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases. We also like Ryan Mountcastle going against the left-hander, home run, double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases. So one more time in this Orioles and Pirates matchup, Orioles money line minus 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 on the run line. Orioles over the team total. Orioles minus 0.5 run first 3, 5, and 7 innings. Adley Rutschman, homer, double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases. Mountcastle, homer, double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases. We've had some people ask about the hit run RBI bet. The only place I've really found it is on DraftKings on that one there. DraftKings, I will tell you this, we shop at a bunch of different books, but for baseball, until you get into homers, doubles, stuff like that, they tend to have really good numbers, odds-wise, and a lot of options on there. So, feel free to do with that as you want. But that hit-run RBI bet, though, definitely available at DraftKings. So then we'll get to the rest of the MLB slate. Mets, Reds, next game up. That's basically the same time slot. Reds, $1.16 favorite. Nick Martinez, Luis Severino. Just keep betting against the Mets, and it's going to be pretty profitable for you. The Mets finally got a win. I'm not sure how they got that. Next game up, Blue Jays, Yankees in New York. Blue Jays take game 1. Gaussman pitching versus Clark Schmidt. Blue Jays, if you get Gaussman at plus money, it's probably a wise bet to take it. Now, are the Blue Jays a guaranteed winner? Absolutely not. The Yankees don't score on Friday, so maybe they bust out some bats. But with Gaussman pitching and plus money, we definitely would have a lean with the Blue Jays. Next game up, Astros, Rangers. John Gray, JP France. Actually, Astros here, a little bit of a favorite, minus 116 on the road in Dallas. The Rangers, the one thing they do is hit left-handers well. Even though Corey Seager, but you've got a lot of guys that can definitely hit up on the left-handers. I'd like the Rangers there on that one, even though they are a slight dog that's still minus money. But we'd lean Rangers in that one. Next game up though, White Sox at the Royals. This is one of the games we are on. 4:11 our time out here in Phoenix. 7:11 out east. Royals are $1.78 favorite. With Michael Wacha versus Mr. Flexen going for the White Sox. I think the White Sox are one of the 3 worst teams in the major leagues, first of all. Let's get that out of the way. It does not mean, though, they're going to win 0 games. The Royals have a bullpen issue. They should be calling up every arm they can to try to fix this bullpen issue, as they should be basically, they should have 1 loss on the season on this one here. We do like the White Sox to kind of upset them here. They are a $1.50 dog. I don't like Wacha as a pitcher. I think he gives up a lot. And not only that, you put Wacha, and then if he's got to get yanked somewhat early, you got that bullpen coming in and putting even more stress on that bullpen. So we're going to take the White Sox, and they actually have Luis Robert and Yan Moncada actually have really good numbers against Wacha lifetime. So we're going to roll with the White Sox here. Money line, plus 1.5, plus 2.5, minus 1.5, minus 2.5 on the run line. White Sox over their team total. White Sox plus a half a run. First 3, first 5, and first 7 innings. Moncada a homer. Moncada double. Moncada over 1.5 total bases and over hits, runs, RBIs. Luis Robert, who we mentioned as well, home run, double, over 1.5 total bases, over hits, runs, RBIs. And we're also going to throw Bobby Witt in here, as he does have really good numbers as well. And Bobby's kind of been on fire. If you haven't seen Bobby Witt, folks, trust me, well worth a couple hours to watch him play. Not only does he play great defense at short, but the man is a monster. And he doesn't really have a ton of protection around him either. But he is, not only does he hit for power, the guy can steal bases and has plenty of speed. So Bobby Witt, homer, double, over 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases. And then we're also going to take Bobby Witt for 2+ hits, as he's been getting a couple hits a game, it seems like. And then Moncada for 2+ hits as well. If Wacha stays in there, Moncada's hitting like over 500 against Wacha in his career. So one more time in this White Sox-Royals matchup, we got the White Sox money line plus 1.5, plus 2.5, minus 1.5, and minus 2.5 on the run line. White Sox over the team total. White Sox plus a half a run, first 3, first 5, and first 7 innings. Moncada homer, double, over 1.5 total bases, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, also 2+ hits. Luis Robert, home run, double, over 1.5 total bases, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Bobby Witt for the Royals, home run, double, over 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, over 1.5 total bases, and 2+ hits. So a lot of bets in that particular game there. Next game up, we've got the Mariners at the Brewers. Mr. Miller going into Milwaukee. Seattle, a little bit of a dog here. They're minus 102 roughly. You got Hall and the Brewers at minus 116. I think the Mariners are going to struggle to score all season long. Getting rid of Teoscar Hernandez and Eugenia Suarez was kind of a big blow. That's 2 big bats out of their lineup. Now, Suarez strikes out a ton, but Teoscar was a monster for him. So we'd have a slight lean maybe towards the Brewers there, but not by much. Diamondbacks, Braves, this series is going to be excellent. So in this matchup, we got Brandon Pfaadt versus Max Fried in Atlanta. I'll be really honest with you. The left-hander for the Braves should be able to, I think, keep the bats pretty quiet for them. You got to worry about Moreno, who's kind of struggled out of the gate, Christian Walker, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. They do have some right-handed bats, but Marte, the switch hitter, a little bit more deadly from the left side. I definitely would think the Braves have an excellent chance here to bring home that one. Next game up, Padres, Giants. Michael King going against Mr. Ken Win for the Giants in San Francisco. Basically a dead even game. Both teams around minus 108, 110 in this one here. I'd lean towards the home team in this one, and probably not a big scoring game here. Total around 8. I just think the Giants at home figure out more times than not how to figure out how to manufacture enough runs to get wins. So definitely like the Giants. Last game of the day though, Red Sox going against LA Angels. 6:39 out here in Phoenix and 9:39 Eastern. We bet the Angels is basically one of the worst teams in baseball. Now they have rattled off some wins. Playing against the Marlins, I think, definitely helps, as the Marlins have been an absolute shit show to start off the season. You got Whitlock versus Detmers. Detmers, in my opinion, is not a quality starting pitcher. Long relief would kind of be where I'd focus him on, but he's one of the Angels' best pitchers. So what do they have to throw out there? The Angels actually a minus 118 favorite. Red Sox at even money. I would take the Red Sox in this particular matchup here as well. So as we went throughout the show, at the end of every episode that we do on our YouTube channel, you will find a link to our Google Sheets. It's a ledger of all of our bets. It'll read like DocStock, Google Dot Spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. This will get you in. We are a volume better. So no matter what sport it is, you can probably consider there's probably going to be quite a few bets, especially with props, batter props, pitcher props. There also might be a couple more props that we throw in on the games that we went through in bets. So making sure you get back to that as we try to get this episode out to you as early as possible. Sometimes 8 to 12 hours ahead of time. There might be bets that pop up that we want to play. So if you want to get the latest updated bets, see what juice we got them at and how many units we placed on it, and then also what book we placed it at. Make sure you do check out those Google Sheets at the end of every episode that we do. And then you can refer back to them as well if you don't have enough time to watch the whole show. Or just, maybe you can't catch the show that day. You can always go to the Google Sheets for a great reference to see what bets we have going on. And as always, if you could subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, so when we drop a new episode of bets, you get those first. Makes life really simple. Once you hit that subscribe button, you'll find us in your subscriptions tab. And then also, if you want to make life even easier, turn on those notifications for YouTube, and you'll get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of bets. Give you plenty of time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.